Key point 1. The pressure of suppressed feelings makes it difficult to live a happy and successful life. When we fail to show how we feel, we experience a myriad of limiting emotions like mood swings, irritability, frustration, and depletion. Repressing an emotion only gives temporary respite, and its disadvantages overwhelm its advantages. We feel unnecessary guilt and fear over what could be dealt with if we develop the right mindset. The trouble with repressed feelings is that they can stay hidden for a long time and destroy us. If we're not careful, we'll fail to identify them. The mind automatically keeps our feelings repressed because we've conditioned them. Denial and projection are some of the mechanisms used by the mind to keep our feelings repressed. The former causes significant emotional blockages, often followed by the latter. Instead of accepting and accessing our emotions, we take everything out on our society and those around us, which leads us to place unwanted blame on people, things, or places. To deny positive emotions and embrace negative feelings will do us no good. Unless we let go, we'll end up clinging to unnecessary burdens. This bite-sized summary highlights the importance of adopting a positive mindset and how it helps set the pace for a beautiful journey to fulfillment. Follow it to discuss the best ways to effect positive changes. Letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, and letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything about it. David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. Key point 2. Sometimes our thoughts scare us because they contain a massive amount of negativity. Every day of our lives, we burden ourselves with a substantial psychological load of accumulated and compressed negative emotions, attitudes, and beliefs. Many of our ailments and mental impairments may be traced back to our tendency to repress unpleasant emotions. We feel helpless against it, yet we seek to escape it in many ways. We spend most of our lives trying to avoid and run away from these suppressed emotions. Negativity reduces our self-esteem and belittles us from the inside and outside. We avoid analyzing our inner feelings out of worry that we may be unable to handle the intensity of our emotions. Without the courage to confront these emotions, they will build up until we welcome death as a release from our suffering. Our thinking undergoes frustrating negative transformations under the weight of accumulated pressure. A single feeling can create thousands of thoughts. However, negative thoughts would vanish if we were able to let go of whatever ache is hiding at the core of our feelings. To get rid of negativity, we must put ourselves in a surrendered state. It implies letting go of any lingering thoughts of negativity in a certain area so that new ideas may flow freely. When dealing with unfavorable emotions, we often resort to one of 3 negative coping mechanisms: suppression, expression, or escape. Suppression is widespread in our lives because it dictates how we push feelings down and aside. Expression is how we make our feelings known and stated in our body language. Expressing negative feelings provides enough room to release the inner pressure so that the remainder can be suppressed. Escape helps us avoid our feelings through diversion. We find solace in temporary distractions and attach our happiness to someone or something. Rather than coming from outside, the stress and anxiety we experience are products of our own minds. It's the insecurities that we have suppressed inside us that manifest outside. The more negativity we have inside us, the more our perception of the world will be harmful. Key point 3. Start small. Try to let go of little things rather than trying to overcome the whole problem at once. It's simpler to let go of a powerful emotion when it lessens in magnitude and intensity. The purpose of surrendering bit by bit is that it takes us to the stage where we can activate the letting go mode. This mindset empowers us with courage. It's when we have identified, acknowledged, and worked our negative emotions to the extent that they've lost their hold on us. When we let go, we become aware that we dare to face any problem, identify how we feel, and work on them. The best way to drop negative emotions is to embrace the positive ones. There's an opposite for everything in the world. Every negative feeling has an opposite, and we must look out for it. Negative thoughts lead to depression, which, in turn, leads to apathy. One of the biggest hurdles to jump to overcome depression and apathy is blame. Blame is a considerable limiter that can make it difficult for us to identify our mistakes. Looking forward to using blame as a cover-up for our mistakes is rewarding to our subconscious minds. It makes us feel less guilty and allows us to feel sorry for ourselves. Through blame, we enjoy self-pity and being the recipients of sympathy. We should take responsibility rather than blame others for our misfortune. Although external influences can cause negativity, our reactions to situations are in our hands. Fear is a terrible feeling that kills optimism and productivity. It limits our creativity and forces us to feel inferior. There is a lot of buried sorrow in the world, and males are particularly prone to carrying it all by themselves. Since men are expected not to show emotions and just man up, it's easy for them to suppress their feelings. However, instead of suppressing our feelings, we should allow them to surface and relinquish them. Through this, we can quickly move on from grief to acceptance. Acceptance is necessary because it helps us overcome fear. We must let go of fear and focus on another emotion hiding behind it: anger. Key point 4. An easy way to overcome anger is to acknowledge it and then tame it. We invest a lot of energy in anger, so we mostly feel energized when we are irritated, frustrated, or angry. Humans are generally violent when angry due to suppressed anger, as seen in how prevalent violence is in the media. Every day there's violence and conflict. It takes seconds for people to switch from being passive to being extremely violent. Suppressed anger is what triggers many cases of domestic violence. When anger is pushed back for a long time, it's prone to a sudden burst that will most likely be fatal. We often feel horrible about our anger outbursts after we've cooled down. Hence, we try to advocate our inappropriate behavior by ensuring that the person or thing we're angry at deserves our wrath. We must study the things that trigger anger within us and block them off. The shift from desensitization and mourning to rage and finally to self-respect perfectly demonstrates this method. The pride that comes after anger leads to the realization that we have just saved a situation from becoming more violent by taming our temper, which gives us the courage to approach any situation. We can use the same technique in our relationships. We can become inspired by anger and improve our communication skills with one another. For example, a temperamental person can take pride in walking away from a tense atmosphere instead of resorting to violence. Unchecked anger leads to negative pride and a bloated ego. To many people, pride is a good thing. However, if we're not careful about it, we will fall victim to overvaluation, denial, and lack of open mindedness. Spiritual pride is the primary cause of religious instability and strife in the world, just as intellectual pride breeds willful ignorance. Trying to suppress pride with guilt does not work. It doesn't help to pretend it's not there. We should overcome anger with humility. That's why it's best to walk away when a room is tense or lecture an ignorant person instead of getting angry. Key point 5. Fear lowers our confidence, so we need the courage to accept negativity and overcome it. The beauty of courage is the knowledge and feeling of positivity and optimism it gives us. Being bold enough to confront our problems gives us assurance, skill, adequacy, capability, love, etc. We are capable of genuine clarity, productivity, and confidence. It takes courage to tackle and defeat fear. It makes bold people go forward in life. Courageous individuals may go on in life despite having little hope that their circumstances will improve. When you do the things everyone shies away from, it increases your self-respect and allows you to garner respect from others. Growing one's bravery leads to a greater sense of personal power and worth. These positive changes give us the power to alter the world around us and make it a better place. We actively contribute to our society instead of just waiting to gain something from it for ourselves. Our confidence in ourselves allows us to prioritize acceptance above the necessity of feeling safe. In acceptance, we enjoy harmony. We feel at peace with ourselves, and positivity flows naturally. The world is there to enjoy, and we need harmony to do this. Acceptance gives us the required lift to peace because we've come to terms with our flaws and accepted that we need to change. One feels empathy and care for all beings. When we're in this mindset, a loving and helpful attitude toward others comes naturally, without any sense of obligation or sacrifice of our own. Treating ourselves with the utmost respect and compassion gives everyone an equal chance to make a positive difference in the world. When we give to life, life gives to us in return. The same things we believe in ourselves, we also believe in others. Once we open ourselves up to love, we discover it is everywhere. Love surrounds us. We just have to be ready to see and realize it. Did you know? According to research from Harvard Medical School, the stress that comes with unacknowledged emotions can lead to slow digestion, gas, bloating, vomiting, and ulcers.
You've hit a daily streak by completing 3 key points. Great job!
Key point 6. When we experience inner peace, we are more likely to gain mental strength. Peace is the absence of conflict. It is also the absolute absence of negativity and a trigger for love, tranquility, and fulfillment. Inner peace gives us energy that ensures we can no longer be intimidated, manipulated, or used. When we heal something in ourselves, we heal it for the world. David R. Hawkins, M.D., Ph.D. The common problem is that many people wrongly identify stress and attribute their inner emotional tension to the pressures of the outside world. The suppressed emotions will become the primary stress in our lives, up to the point that even in a peaceful external environment, we'll be restless. The gradual reduction of personal issues may avoid stress-related disorders through the identification, acceptance, and release of suppressed emotions. Those who have successfully used the concept of letting go report generally better overall health and a more active lifestyle. Since our physical bodies are programmed to reflect the beliefs of our mental selves, we often exhibit the attitudes and behaviors that reflect our inner states. Relying on positive psychological development and increasing the ease of solving long-standing problems are the most noticeable results of releasing destructive emotions. Once we start feeling the profound impacts of removing the barriers to fulfillment and contentment in life, we can't help but feel a sense of evident joy and satisfaction. Of course, we'll be left with many questions in many areas of our lives. Life is not black and white. Some things might be beyond our control. But to live a good life, we shouldn't look for answers. Instead, we should let go of the feelings behind some questions. We can also stop looking forward to the next moment when we ignore these feelings. Anticipating what happens next exposes us to possible disappointments. While it's good to look forward to the future, we shouldn't forget to overlook the past, enjoy the moment, and plan well for what's to come. When we do all these things, we live in an infinite peace beyond description.
You've hit a daily streak by completing 3 key points. Great job!
Conclusion. There are many good things to look forward to rather than dwelling on negative feelings all the time. We will never get things right by being negative. Being positive brings good feelings. Surrendering involves submitting ourselves to our reality. There's no point denying our behavior, especially when people constantly complain about it. To let go, we need to be open-minded and intentional about ourselves. It's easy to get lost trying to find ourselves, which is why we need to shed the unnecessary burdens we carry with us. We struggle to make meaning of life and gain more questions than answers. Most problems are not influenced by what happens around us, but by the thoughts that shape our feelings. We can do little to control our thoughts, but we can do a lot to control our feelings. Feelings like anger, pride, frustration, depression, pain, etc. are normal, but they shouldn't overwhelm us. When they do, we won't be able to develop the right optimism to move forward. When we let go of negative emotions, we can use our energy for more positive pursuits. Things won't always work out the way we want, and we'll make mistakes along the way, but we mustn't hate ourselves for it. We aren't perfect, and that's what makes us human. When we blame and hate ourselves for bad situations, we won't find the needed confidence to turn things around. We only have to focus on the good things around us and celebrate our victories, no matter how small. Things will become better when we believe and accept that they will. Try this. Whenever you're angry, take a walk, listen to music, or find something to distract you. You'll gain an edge over your feelings, and it will save you from being violent. You should also focus on the good things in your life and stop dwelling on your negative feelings.